So welcome to the breadboard voltage and current measurement tutorial. So today we're going to be going over how to measure current and voltage in a simple in-series and later in parallel connection. So this is going to be somewhat familiar from the previous tutorial. We have a wire that is going from the 5 volts into the red and then from the ground into the blue. And then we have our connection that is going to go through the first resistor into the second resistor and then go back. And I just noticed that this is actually correct. A mistake bias, so you know how it goes. So now I see that this connection is going to ground. So the question is, if I ask you to measure for voltage and current, how do you first visualize the measurement of current and the measurement of voltage? So the first thing we have to remember is that voltage is often measured or is a measurement between 2 points, and current is often a measurement of things that are going through, so current flow. So if I were to look at this particular setup of resistors, if I want to measure the voltage, let's say, that is going through or dropping across the first resistor, what I need to do is I need to find where the positive direction is. So in this case, it's going to be here. I'm going to drop a wire here, just to the node, that point. And then I need to say, okay, if I'm measuring the voltage across this guy, this first resistor, the end of that resistor is going to be here in the middle. So if I had my oscilloscope or my multimeter probes, I'm measuring the voltage across that component, I would basically do it like so. So I would be measuring across those two components. I can do it on the bottom, I can do a wire. We're going to be doing various ways in which we can measure. If I want to measure the voltage across the second resistor, then I just move these nodes here and measure the beginning and the end of that second resistor. So I want to measure the entire voltage. So remember, Kirchhoff's law, the voltage in a loop is the total is 0. So if I basically want to measure what the battery is outputting, I can just measure the tip of the first resistor and the end of the second resistor. So that basically I'm measuring the total voltage drop across both resistors. Now current is a little bit different. With current, I need to measure the flow of current through. So I want you to think about current as basically a way in which I need to interject into the circuit and measure the current that is following or flowing to one particular point. And in that way, for this particular circuit, what I need to do is I actually need to get rid of one of these wires. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to assume that these wires again are my positive and negative for the current. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect that to my ammeter that is off screen. So let's like this. So I'm going to connect the positive to this yellow wire, and I'm going to connect the negative back to ground. So if I do my little follow the current diagram, I can see that it's going through the red, this yellow, through the orange, this yellow wire, then first resistor, second resistor, and then it's going to go into the ammeter and out of the ammeter into ground and finish the loop. So the ammeter is going to be basically like a wire or a connection. So that's the best way in order for us to measure current. So that is basically the fundamentals of measuring current and voltage in a circuit. Remember, you measure across the voltage and you measure through by replacing a wire.